Hello everyone, this is Suzanne at the Gospel Truth. Today is Monday, September 16th, and it's a beautiful sunshiny day. Ron and I do have an appointment today at 3:30, again with Ron's dentist. This has been like a 5-month project so far. He went in first to get a couple of posts put in, and then when he went back, it was too sore to proceed with the next step, which would be taking his bottom denture and putting the clips in that attach to the post in his mouth. So today we're going back to see what the status is. It looks like there's some more tissue that needs to be trimmed down. He still has a little bit of soreness, so we're hoping within this next month that this can get resolved. He can get his bottom denture clipped on. And the good news is he's lost some weight. He's at 160 pounds right now, I think, 60 and a half. He was at 168. So not a good way to lose weight, but we are making progress. It's been difficult coming up with foods to him to eat, but we're managing. All right, we're back in our book, Keep the Faith. We are almost winding down. Probably by the end of this month, hopefully we'll be through this book and we will have learned some valuable lessons on how to keep the faith in a world turned upside down. I appreciate those of you that are commenting. I would ask, please, again, if you are watching and you don't have time to comment, please just hit that like button. That gives me an idea of how many are watching, and it really helps my channel. I right now have maybe a handful that are commenting and hardly anyone pressing that like button. So as a favor to me, would you please, it only takes like not even a second, just boom, and it's done. So we'll try again with that. All right, let's get started with our lesson, and then I want to discuss a little something with you after our lesson. All right, the last time we met, we talked about perseverance produces trust, and perseverance produces transformation. And Ty Green said, no one has ever become a true disciple without perseverance. I've heard people say, why is the Lord persecuting me? I'm under such heavy persecution. And it's like, no, you're not. You're not even close to being under persecution. I think some people get a wrong idea of what persecution really is. Because if you were in deep persecution, there'd be no doubt about it. And not being able to meet your bills or having a bad day is not persecution. I'm going to take a little drink here. My throat is a little dry today. That's better. All right, let's get started. The formula for persevering. Formulas are great, aren't they? 1 + 1 = 2, 2 = 4, and so forth and so on. And we always have to come up with that formula, don't we? In everything we do that works according to the scriptures. God knows we need trials to form character, just as athletes need resistance to tone their muscles. In his relentless pursuit of us, he will not leave us in our comfort zones, where our spiritual muscles atrophy from lack of use. Now, I get that, and I understand that. I know my muscles, Ron and I have been in physical therapy, and some of the exercise we're doing causes muscle soreness. It's not pleasant, but in order to reach our end goal, we must persevere through that difficult period until we get on the other side. It's the same with Christ. Same with God. We need to persevere and know there is purpose in our suffering. Instead, he exposes us to obstacles to strengthen our faith. That is probably a huge one right there. Exposes us to obstacles to strengthen our faith, humble our hearts, and refine our characters. Now, a humble heart is very, very important. If you can humble your heart and start listening instead of being a know-it-all and not being a person of humility, that will lead you down the wrong path and a lot of misery. You have to learn to trust, you have to learn to grow, and you have to learn to be nourished constantly. It's not just a one-time thing and you're done. You don't read the Bible through one time and you're done. You don't study one day and then you're done for a month. It doesn't work that way. In order to build those spiritual muscles, we need to go through trials. That's why Paul urged Timothy to pursue righteousness and a godly life, along with faith, love, perseverance, and gentleness. Sometimes we need to be very gentle with people. When people are down and out, you don't throw them a big boulder to sink to the bottom even further. So, how do you receive God's gift of perseverance? How do you find the strength to press on when you feel like giving up? The next time you're close to giving up, consider these biblical strategies to moving forward. I think if we're honest with ourselves, we've all been there. We've all been to that breaking point. And we just don't know where we're going to pull the strength up to keep on persevering. What is the best solution to that? Dig deeper into God's Word. And I've mentioned that before. Be diggers. Be a digger of knowledge. Put your problems in perspective. This is a good one. On a rainy night in 1976, 6-year-old Omi Theo and her siblings were awakened by their mother. "They are here," she whispered, "and we need to go now." Communists had invaded Laos the previous year, and Laotian Christians were no longer safe. Now the soldiers had reached Omi's village. With no time to pack food or water, Omi's family and others crept stealthily to the outskirts of the city, where guides waited to escort them to Thailand. This is what real persecution looks like. Can you imagine waking your children up in the middle of the night and say, we have to go now, no time to get anything? Scary. They slogged through the nights of torrential rain, the flooded and muddy trail making travel difficult and miserable. I can't imagine. Rain can be pretty cold at times, and if there's a wind, it makes it worse. Drudging through a muddy trail. In daylight, they hid under bushes from searching soldiers. They survived on roots and rainwater. Poorly shod or barefoot, their feet were bruised and bleeding. Days later, they began finding the bones of earlier refugees who died trying to flee. After 12 grueling days, Omi and her family reached the Thailand border. An official attempted to extort money from Omi's mother and clubbed her to the ground because she had none. They were trucked to a refugee camp and herded with other refugees in a space the size of a jail cell. Their meager rations consisted of rice and fish. Several refugees starved to death. Yet, despite these ordeals, Omi later wrote, "We rejoice daily, and as followers of Jesus, thank God for his protection over our lives. Despite the hardship, we knew we had to keep on persevering and enduring, for we had the hope that others did not have." We have the hope that others did not have. After enduring the camp for 2 years, Omi's family received a letter from a relative who had reached the United States, offering to sponsor them for immigration. In 1979, they were flown to Appletown, Wisconsin. Life in America was hard at first, but Omi and her family had the perspective of the terrible ordeals they had endured. They adapted and finally achieved lives of peace and prosperity. Omi earned a master's degree from Denver Seminary in 2015 and now serves in church ministry with her husband. As she wrote, "All the hardships I faced in Laos and Thailand, God faithfully turned into blessings." The Bible tells you to look at your problems in light of eternity. In the book of Romans, Paul wrote, "I consider that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us." Architects tell us no building is large or small except by comparison to something else. Comparison is the key to Paul's attitude. Putting things in perspective, Paul realized he was trading temporary sufferings for massive, eternal, enduring, perpetual joy and delight. So one day we're going to turn in our sufferings for delight in the Lord, heavenly reward, and it will be worth every ache, every pain we've ever gone through. And that's where the trust comes in. We have to trust in God. We have to follow Him faithfully. Let Him take the lead. He knows what direction He's going, and He has a purpose. When you weigh the outcome against the cost of your perseverance, not only does perseverance become your first response, it comes to you more easily. The current ordeal may wear down your body, but that body will wear down anyway through age. So the choice is yours how to proceed. And I don't know about you, but I'd rather burn out than rest out. I've mentioned Jody Erickson Tada in many of my books because her insights as a long-term quadriplegic have inspired me and millions of others. In one of her books, she wrote, "Looking down on my problems from heaven's perspective, trials look extraordinarily different. When viewed from its own level, my paralysis seems like a huge, impassable wall. But when viewed from above, the wall appeared as a thin line, something that could be overcome. I discovered with delight a bird's eye view. It was the view of Isaiah 40:31. Those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not be faint." If you want to keep moving forward, learn to think of your problems from God's perspective. Instead of comparing your challenges to your own resources, compare them to God's great power, His eternal plan, and His divine love. See them against His infinite grace. The trials that seem so large to us are well within His ability to manage, bless, and redeem for good. You know, we may go through, we are going through a battlefield, a spiritual battlefield. And Satan will do everything he can to discourage you, to make you walk away from God. But my question always is, if you walk away from God, what are you walking toward? I'm really big on gathering knowledge, on gathering facts, on research. And if something is troubling you or you have a question, please post it in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer it, to point you to the right scriptures. And I think that's what we need to do. We need to encourage one another. We need to uplift. We need to be gentle, kind. We need to help where we can help. And the rest of it we need to give to God that we don't have control of. But whatever you can do, do it heartily and as if unto the Lord. And if we have that perspective, people will truly see Christ living in us. Okay, we're gonna let me see how. Okay, we're going to do a little bit more. Just tackle today. And this is something I speak about often. Remember, God will provide the perseverance you need. Your job is to keep putting one foot in front of the other. Tackle life step by step. Don't take that big, huge step all at once. You'll never make it through. It will crush you. When God appointed Joshua as leader of the Israelites and gave him responsibility for leading them across the river Jordan and conquering the promised land, He told him, "I will give you every place where you set your foot." In other words, you can't make any progress unless you go forward one step at a time. But every single step will be a victory. You don't have to conquer your whole problem at once, nor do you need to accomplish your life's work in one day. God's plan is step by step, and you have to take life day by day. Remember what Jesus said in the Sermon on the Mount. "Seek ye first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all those things shall be added unto you. Therefore do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about its own things." Listen to that. Your worry doesn't help, so just tackle today. God alone is in charge of tomorrow. People in addiction recovery groups, 12-step groups, or support group dealing with grief and other issues know the phrase, one day at a time. There really is no other way to persevere. Jerry Willis is a journalist with the Fox Business Network. In the middle of her career, she was diagnosed with breast cancer, and at first she could not face the diagnosis. She reached out to one of her colleagues, Jennifer Griffin, who had beaten triple-negative breast cancer. Jennifer told her, "Prepare yourself for the long haul." Prepare yourself for the long haul. In other words, get ready to persevere to go through severe circumstances. I know Ron and I have been dealing with chronic pain issues for a long time. Ever since we've gotten married, I think I've had a surgery, 1 or 2 surgeries every year. And we're going on 13 years, I think. It's a long time. But we have to prepare ourselves for the long haul. That, okay, this is not going to be a simple fix. On my worst of days, I just keep saying, okay, this is going to take a bit. It may get better, it may not. But if I stay in the day and not worry about, I should be better by now, and start going down that pity party road, is not going to help me or my attitude. Jerry's experiences with treatment left her horrified, shaking like a leaf, but she wouldn't give up. In 2017, she wrote an article about the benefits she's gained through her experience. "No lesson was more important than this," she wrote. "I've learned to take life day by day and hour by hour. I've battled cancer too, and I've had many other problems in life. I want to tell you from my heart that if you're going through a difficult personal trial, the words of Jesus contain great power. Do not worry about tomorrow. Just take things day by day, hour by hour, moment by moment, and step by step. Put one foot in front of the other and keep going. The Lord will be with you, and He will secure every place where the sole of your foot treads. He will open up the future to you, and He will get you there in His good timing. Just tackle today with Him." All right, that's it for our lesson for today. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about surrounding ourselves with encouragers and know when to take a break. I hope you've enjoyed today's lesson. Again, I think this is really great information that a lot of us needed to hear. Sometimes we just have to have things repeated to us once in a while to keep us going, don't we? All right. I have 2 books. One I haven't gotten yet is Experiencing the Life of Jesus. And this one, What Happens Next? A Traveler's Guide Through the End of This Age by Max Lucado. They're both really, really good books. And I'll read a little bit from the back. It says, Max begins with 4 big ideas that provide a solid foundation for understanding God's eternal plan. We were made to reign with Christ. God has made and will keep His promises. Heaven has a timeline. A golden era, the millennium, awaits God's children. Max then explores the timeline of history, examining essential milestones such as the rapture, the 7 years of tribulation, and the glory of heaven, in contrast to the confusion and anxiety that often comes with this topic. Max provides wise, reassuring, and well-researched overview of what God's Word says. In a world filled with political tension, personal trials, and international turbulence, we need to find hope in God's eternal plan. Whether you find yourself in the "I can't wait," "I'm almost ready," or "I'm not sure about all this" camp, you will be encouraged to ponder God's promises for the future. In Mac's signature, encouraging style, he reminds us all, it's all about hope, it's all about Him. Says, be prepared, not scared. Are we living in the end times? If so, what does that mean for you? So, a lot of people are really leery and afraid of the book of Revelation. We did a big study on Revelation a while back. It was a very good study. And I think the more we can learn to be prepared and not scared, the better it is for us. And I've been kind of thumbing through this book, and it is very, very good. I like what I'm reading. So I'm waiting for the other book come in, Experiencing the Love of Christ, I think it was the name of it. So it's going to be this book or the other book. I may put it up for a vote. If I don't hear any suggestions, I'll just pick myself. But first, we're going to continue finishing up this book, Keep the Faith. I hope that it has been a benefit to you. If you could just type the word yes. Yes, it has been. Any thoughts on what you may like to study next? I'm always open to that. This is our channel, our family, and I definitely would enjoy your input. All right, everyone, you take care. It's been a great experience spending some more time with you. I can't tell you how much I enjoy doing this. It keeps me where I need to be and reminds me of the strength I have in Christ, the trust I need to put into Him, and the perseverance I need to continue to run this race. All right, everyone, take care. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.